Hello. Ryan Couture, otherwise known as, you know, MVCat. So, I actually have a predator catching channel where basically, we do kind of, uh, so I would call investigative journalism, where basically we kind of gather information on online predators. We basically would put out decoy accounts, and have these predators meet 14-year-olds and or not 14-year-olds, that's my decoy age, but they would meet a minor and they would actually uh, you know um, they would initiate the conversation, they would talk sexual, they would meet up. So and then basically we would just gather as much information as possible and then just kind of give it to the public and the police. And that's kind of what MVCAP does. It stands for Nonviolent Citizens Against Predators. So if anyone's wondering what that stands for, it stands for Nonviolent Citizens Against Predators because, I mean, some people can kind of confuse it with, like vigilantism or anything other than everything but what it is. So, that's kind of what it is. Kind of making it clear that we're nonviolent. We're not like fighting crime. We're not like attacking people, whatever. But we're basically just gathering information and uh, make it useful to the public and the police. Um, why I mentioned that is, I do have a technical background, and I'm trying to get into the coding, trying to break into the coding field. And I thought I'd bring people along on my journey to on my way into getting back my skills up. And so basically, I'm actually going to start by kind of teaching kind of what I know, kind of start with some broad stuff, and then kind of just start with, basically teaching kind of what I already know, and then kind of building that into, you know, um, I'll kind of learn along the way. I'll be kind of learning at a certain point too, and then I'll be making a tutorial on it. And yeah, so it's kind of, and also, basically, we're gonna have a Discord, and I'm gonna link the Discord in the description, and it'll kind of make it so that we can kind of all learn together. Discord is an app where you can basically share files and things. We'll have something else for sharing programming, but basically it'll kind of be for to discuss like maybe problems, kind of to collaborate better in terms of communication. But there'll kind of be a Discord. So that kind of there'll be a GitHub rather. GitHub is a another program where basically you can share programs and then kind of make it so that you're not. So it's called I know what it's called, but it's kind of the purpose of having something like GitHub is it kind of would make it so that uh, you know like let's say you're working on the same thing and then another person is working on their version of it, right? Like the same project. You know, you kind of want to make it clear, like like who did what. Um, pretty much, it's called a, I think it's called a version control system, version control software. So it's basically kind of makes it so that when you kind of are building and editing, you're not kind of having to like either rename it or it just kind of makes it more organized. And that'll kind of be for sharing some of the code, but then to kind of have real-time communication just with the community, we'll have a Discord. And at Discord you can have like a general chat where there'll be a lot of people there. We can do streams, and we can kind of just maybe when we get stuck we can kind of just ask questions. And I kind of find that a lot of programming channels are kind of like there's kind of money attached to it. It's going to be all free basically. So yeah, it's like we're going to kind of start from kind of a basic level and try to make it so that we can kind of really make cutting edge projects and kind of make it so that you can kind of always the start from the beginning. Kind of basically putting all the learning out there so that anyone can kind of just jump in and progress. So, um, so just kind of just making another channel. And to be clear, I'm not doing the predator catching thing. This is just another thing. If anything, the more programming I'm doing, probably the more catches I can do. But I digress. The point of this is really the programming channel, and let's get in. So, first definition, right, is what is a computer? Electronic device for storing and processing data, typically in binary form, according to instructions given to it in a variable program. I'm gonna see if I can pull this off. I don't know if I can. Well, I don't know if I can. But I'm gonna actually go Khan Academy style, and I'm actually gonna make I'm definitely gonna make the background black. I'm opening up Microsoft Paint, and yeah, so this looks like a job from Microsoft Paint. So hold on, I'm gonna show you Microsoft Paint. I'm gonna kind of show kind of what you're gonna kind of think about with definition of a computer. So like, what are we working with? Alright, hold on. So, a computer. Um, a computer. So basically, how you want to think of a computer is, you know, there is an input in the computer, and then there's an output. Um, that's basically the definition. I'll try to have like a better one on my phone, better definition on my phone. Another one is a computer is a machine that can be programmed to carry out sequences of arithmetic or logical operations automatically. Modern computers can perform generic sets of operations known as programs. These programs enable computers to perform a wide range of tasks. So let's say, let's say we're making let's say, we can call anything really a computer. Let's say it's a calculator. Let's just say it's a calculator. Why not? So let's say it takes, actually, here's a better way of thinking about it. So what if it's a calculator? And actually, hold on. I'll need more space. I was gonna do that. Oh man, I didn't know I was gonna do that though. Okay, so now we have more space. So, this is kind of going to be the input. I'll actually write down input. And make another box for output. So this is a computer, that square. So let's say it's just a computer, right? And, you know, it just is supposed to add or subtract a number, right? It's a calculator. Let's say we're building a calculator. You know, I guess we would call this number one. I'll call this num1. Yeah, I don't know how well I'm literally using my mouse pad to draw this. If you're gonna, you know, maybe it's just gonna add two numbers, but what if it's not gonna do a little more than that? What if it's gonna also subtract numbers, divide numbers, multiply numbers? That's gonna need, you know, an operator. So that's kind of the plus, the minus. So, you know, we know how a calculator works. And a calculator is a computer. I'll call this op. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to. Okay. There we are. So then, you know, whatever the operation is going to go there. And let's say, you know, it's gonna have num2. This is a second number. Num2. And I'm going to put a box for whatever you put in num2. So the computer is going to do its thing, whatever that means, right? And then, well, I don't know. What the hell was that about? And then there's going to be an answer. An answer. Yeah, excuse my handwriting. I'm literally using a mouse pad to write, and my handwriting is already bad enough. But it's going to be an answer. So I'm kind of being generic here, right? Actually, I want to see just how this looks on OBS. Okay, it looks okay. So we have a number right there, first number, operation, second number, and then, you know, the computer's going to do its thing, and then it's going to display an answer. So let's try to use this computer. Okay, I'm gonna make this smaller, a lot smaller. Holy shit, not that small. Let's say I make, you know, I'm gonna make the first number 14. We'll decide to add numbers today. We're gonna add numbers. So I put a plus sign, and I'm gonna add 15. So what we're telling the computer is we're gonna have the first number is 14. Then, what are we gonna do? We're gonna add, and then we're gonna add 15 to it. So somehow, right? And if you don't know how, that's kind of what I'm gonna explain. But somehow, right? Assuming this is kind of a calculator, the 14 plus the 15 is gonna produce the answer. And, we just kind of know from basic math that that's going to be, oh, wow, no, I don't mean to do that. It's going to be 29. 29. So, pretty much what happened here is, it had an input, right? It basically had a job. So basically it had an input, right? And it's by these three inputs, it somehow knew to add those numbers to make 29. But, without really anything else, you wouldn't really know. Without anything else, it wouldn't really know. I mean, if you just tell it, oh, okay, three parameters, 14 plus and 15, do something with it, it wouldn't really know what to do. It's not like, if you were just given, 14 plus and 15 and you're like, all right, try to figure out what to do, that it's going to magically figure out what to do. So there's a program, basically, to do that. A program would, make that output. So it would add 14 and 15. So that's the thing. It would need to know, it would need to kind of have some kind of way of knowing what to do. So, what's going on here? What's going on here is pretty much, you turn it on, the program starts. I'll actually just type that in. You turn it on, right? Then it's gonna pretty much ask for num1. It's gonna ask what the op is, and it's gonna ask what num2 is. So these are what you would call variables. Now, it's kind of similar to, math, but it's not like a variable like x equals 5. The variable really can equal anything. So a variable, I'll actually look up definition, look up the definition here. Let's look up the definition. Let's look up variable. Is data values that change when the user is asked a question. For example, their age. Variables may change during program execution. The key difference when comparing a constant to a variable is that the values associated with the variable name may change during program execution. So, where to go? So basically not getting, too complicated, but um, it's kind of almost similar to, kind of the variables you learn in math, like x equals 5, but really it can be anything. It's basically gonna figure out. So let's say it was well, actually I'll get to that, but um, it's kind of where to store a piece of information in memory. That's pretty much what is a variable. So already, if you can go back to the Microsoft Paint, oh, oh, I don't know where it is. What's going on? It's gonna be here. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, it's right here. Okay, just kind of learning OBS. So basically, um, so the only way that those variables even exist is a programmer would have to create them to know, like, oh, you're gonna put 14 in num1, you're gonna put plus in op, you're gonna put num2, you're gonna put like another number in 15. That's the only way you would do it. Then, right, you would have kind of like, the input, and then let's say, you then program the answer to be now. How would you show that the answer is pretty much kind of, it would be num1 with whatever operation you'd have, and then num2. How would you program that? How would you actually program that? So I'll kind of just try and arrow here, I guess. But it's kind of complicated. Like, because it's like, what if it's another number, What if it's 12? What if it's 11? You kind of want to make something so it generically knows to basically take in the right operation and add and and take the proper action with the numbers. So let's say if and I'm going somewhere with this. It actually is very relevant. If this is literally almost programming, basically. If op if op, and I'm writing op here, if op is, let's say, it's a plus. Then, so like if this op is a plus, then you would want answer hold on, I'll write this down. Is going to be equal to num1 num1 plus, hold on, plus I'm trying to type this. It's hard. It's harder than it looks. I'm literally using a mouse pad to write. So unless you do that faster than I do, then you can say some. Um, hold on. Num2. Now, that's because you now know, like, let's say the op is a plus. Then the answer is going to be num1 plus num2, right? But what if, right? And by the way, you might be wondering what the hell these things are. And it kind of looks a little weird. Don't worry about that. That's actually for a reason. It's not just a random separation. This actually looks a lot like a program. Believe it or not, an actual program. So let's say it's something else. Let's say it's not a plus sign. So let's say else if. Let's say op is a minus sign. What if op is a minus sign? Then answer, you probably guess, is going to be num1 plus, oh no, wow, no, no, it wouldn't be plus, minus num2. And as a challenge, let's say it's multiplication, you know, it would be answer, what would it be? You know, you can pause the video and then come back to the answer and try to figure out what it would be, but I'm pretty sure you would know. Like, let's say that operation was a multiplier. Let's say it was a x for multiplication. Then answer would be num1 times num2. Let's say it was a division. It would be answer num1 divided by num2. You know? So then the question would be, like, this is how, this right here, is basically how you know is how the program knows to take these three things, 14 plus and 15, and turn it into a 29. Because maybe, I don't know, let's say, like, you know, it's not, it's like, it's kind of like a human, like, giving you a tool, and then maybe you figure out what to do, right? Like, okay, let's say, like, you know, someone gives you a tool and a nail, maybe it just kind of occurred to you, okay, I'm probably supposed to hammer this nail into this wood. But the computer doesn't know anything, obviously. It's like an inanimate object. So the only way it's going to know what to do is if you tell them. And the way that it's going to do what you tell them is to program it. So any calculator, it's programmed. Pretty much anything, it's programmed, you know? So that's how it does it. That's going to be, I'm going to kind of end it off. This is kind of like the breakdown of kind of what a computer generally is. This isn't like the perfect rigorous definition, but this is pretty much what you got to know in terms of having intuition of what a computer is for programming. And I'm actually trying to like stall to just end the find OBS to end the video. But this is kind of just generally what a program is, and yeah, there's going to be more videos.